I'm about to give you a few reasons. No, let's say five. Five reasons why you should focus on your spiritual growth. This is a video to actually enlighten people that are on the spectrum of good looking. Yeah, a lot of us are good looking people, very attractive, and sometimes what we attract is not necessarily what we want. That's the painful part. You attract what you don't want, and you wonder why you keep attracting this. I've seen so many memes about people basically putting up a picture of guys they want on one side and guys they don't want on the other side. Also, also guys do this. Girls I want base on one side, and then girls that are actually attracted to me on the other side. This is basically a very pivotal point of why you should focus on your spirituality. You should actually focus on your spirituality rather than your looks. Is because, guys, you need to understand that the things that you attract are things that are linked to you, that are embedded in you on a subconscious level. The subconscious controls 95% of our results in our waking life. So the subconscious basically carries these things called paradigms. Paradigms are programmings that we have actually uh, fostered within ourselves from the time from our early childhood. These paradigms, they formed, some of them formed when in our infancy, whereas you ask yourself, why doesn't have you ever asked yourself sorry, have you ever asked yourself, why is an infant able to learn a language so excellently, even though they are just they literally walk in here not knowing a single language or how to say a thing. Basically, an infant has nothing, doesn't have what you call a conscious brain. He has only the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind basically accepts everything that it is given. It takes it literally, and it just takes it as it is, and it integrates it as it is. So when you come along to an infant and you speak Spanish, for example, that infant will eventually learn Spanish. If you come along to an infant, okay, not coming along, let's say that infant is raised in a house where they speak Spanish, that infant will speak Spanish. If that infant was raised in a house where they spoke six languages, that infant would speak those six languages fluently. This is because the power of the subconscious mind is that it takes everything literally and it absorbs like a sponge. Now, the function of the conscious mind here is to actually filter out those things that you try to teach the subconscious. By filtering them out is meaning that when I try to teach you something, you're gonna choose. You usually choose by yourself if you wanna take this lesson or not. This is basically the conscious mind at work. You ever like find somebody trying to tell you, hey, you should do this and this and this, in regards to this and this and this subject matter, then you be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. This is your subconscious mind basically practicing its level of trained resistance. But the resistance that it has trained is only due to how the subconscious programming is actually working. So knowing that the subconscious mind controls 95% of your results is the first reason why you should focus on your spiritual growth. Your spiritual growth is basically realizing that there are other things. Excuse me, my nose is tickling. It must mean something. Something in the spiritual realm is happening. Anyway, uh, the reason why the your subconscious your spiritual growth allows you to actually overcome your subconscious is that basically when you are learning to be more spiritual, most of the things that you realize are holding you back are on a subconscious level. Spirituality allows you to grow to the point where you overcome your conscious mind, and are able to delve deep into the inner workings of your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind basically controls most of your results. So if you are financially incapable, financially disabled, financially broke, basically it's something to do with with your subconscious paradigms, your subconscious programming. So this programming can be unraveled by you in, actually taking conscious efforts to actually unravel these things. But if you are unable to consciously take this, actually consciously will yourself to do so, you will find yourself dealing with the second reason why it's important to focus on your spiritual growth: ego. Your ego is an ego, right? An ego is basically something that you actually decided you it's something that you decided that you are in a time that you were still a youngin. It's literally sets of belief systems that you decided that these are me way before you actually knew who you are is. Now, for a lot of us don't even know who we are. So we like to go around wearing a face, wearing a mask that basically we don't know who or what that mask is. I've taken time to learn myself for many years, to actually study myself and ask myself, who am I? And to know myself on a deep fundamental level. And from what I know, from the time I've taken, I realize I still do not know. And a lot of people, when you ask them, who are you? Like if I were to ask you, who are you? Can you truly answer me? Can you truly answer me, like in terms of without giving me your name, your surname, or what you do? If you can do that without giving me those, then you are on your journey. You're on your way of answering better things, or answering better horizons of your life and finding out better things. So the ego is basically the most stubborn illusion that you will find in your reality. And this illusion basically keeps you where you are, keeps you getting stuck, keeps you getting the same results that you're getting. If you have been failing at a certain juncture in your life, the ego is most likely what keeps you failing there, because it tells you, this is who I am, I can't be more. This is who I am. I shouldn't change. I shouldn't be able to change. The ego is basically the story we tell ourselves of why things should stay the way they are and why they can't change. So overcoming the ego is a very, very deep spiritual undertaking, because you have to literally summon the strength of angels, of gods, to basically fight off this person that you have been your whole entire life, because you never realized that they were the one holding you back. The ego is the one that generally points to other factors like, no, it's this person, or it's that factor, or it's that situation that is holding me back from becoming my best version of myself, which is not entirely true. Because if that was the case, then that would be the case for everybody who deals with that situation, that factor, that type of group of people that are like this. And you will find that some of us in our lives, we can compare a lot and find we have a lot in common, regardless of where we come from or who we are. We can find we relate on a lot, because most of the situations that we face are the same. We were created all by one hand anyway, the hand of God, meaning that the problems that we face are very similar. And if we were to connect more, expand ourselves beyond ourselves, beyond who we think we are, we would actually find ourselves helping each other on a much deeper level, on a much wider basis. Which brings me to to the third reason why you should focus on your spiritual growth: that all is one. If all, since all is one, basically you identifying as an individual and saying me and my things and my ways and my ego is basically limiting the kind of growth that you can actually accomplish as an individual. You can you see what I did there? I spoke about the individual, even though that's the reason why you should focus on your spiritual growth. Yeah, the reason why you want to associate your individuality with so much importance is because that you do not realize that all is one. Literally, our oneness is literally what makes us strong. It literally what actually expands us toward beyond ourselves. You know, a wise man actually said that if you can focus long enough on solving other people's problems, you would have all the money in the world that you require. And I asked myself, because this wise man was from a YouTube video, I asked myself, I'm like, how do you mean? He says, the amount of money that you want in your life is in somebody else's wallet, in somebody else's bank account, and that person would give it to you happily if you can prove that you can solve their problems or pain points. So this literally means that if we actually we are able to put ourselves beyond the caring of our own problems long enough to actually care more about other people's problems, care more about solving other people's problems, those people would actually be willing to pay us in order for us to solve their problems. Meaning that being one with all is realizing that you can actually care long enough to actually find your needs met by you meeting other people's needs, meaning that we are all one. So caring about others actually unites us in oneness. This brings me to a concept called Abhimana. It's a Hindi concept in the Hindi language, meaning that oneness. It's basically the caring of oneness, the caring of our futures as a collective. This caring is basically what actually makes us so strong. So understanding that all is one is actually understanding how we can help each other evolve. We can help each other do the things that we need to do, because God created all of us in his own image, but he did not actually make his image identical to one another. So what I can do is not what you can do, and what you can do is not what I can do. Meaning that you can help me with something that I cannot help myself with, but I can help you with something that you cannot help yourself with. Basically, we all hold a part that can help another help the other. You feel what I'm saying? This oneness is basically goes beyond the fact that we can actually help each other achieve our goals more than we can achieve them on our own. This goes beyond using other people for your own personal gain, but actually focusing on how you can provide value to the collective in order for that value to come back to you in another form. Since energy cannot be created nor destroyed, the good energy that you put out actually goes out into the world and accumulates and then comes back to you tenfold or threefold if you're a awakened spiritualist. So the spiritual aspect of life makes us realize that we are not physical bodies, but we're actually spiritual beings having a physical experience. Thus, our spirit, which is ultimately consciousness, is all one and all pervading. So the reason and the next reason of why it's important to focus on your spirituality is that spiritual maturity is actually the only true form of maturity. Any other maturity, like aging, for example, like most people wanna, like the most wanna collect, is not true maturity. Have you ever found yourself talking to someone older than you but actually find that this person is kind of immature. Or you ever find yourself asking someone uh, who's been at a certain job or a certain experience longer than you for advice, but find that their advice is almost the same as something that you could have given yourself. This is so because some people may do may be living for a long time, be doing life for the longest time, but not actually know what life was about, not actually have the philosophical background to even think of that. This is why uh, I say age is not a sign of maturity, because you sometimes find a young person who is born is actually someone who was old in the previous life, and this person now when they return they're actually able to remember all of their lives. So when you ask them for wisdom, they can give it to you even though physically they are younger than you. Age is not a measure of maturity. I have another video on that. You should check it out. It's really something. So a final reason why you should focus on your spiritual growth is that basically it's preparing you for eternity. Yes, the lives that we live are a speck in a reflection of how we'll spend eternity. So if in this life you are spending your time wasting it, regretting, hating why you did this, why you did that, basically it's showing how if this life was eternity itself, then you would find yourself regretting through eternity. Whereas on the other hand, if you learn spiritual concepts and continue to learn, actually commit yourself to learning more and more and more each day, you will find yourself learning so far ahead that when certain circumstances come along in life and test you, you are more than willing, you are more than able, you are more than capable of handling those circumstances due to the fact that you gave yourself the time to actually learn those things and be able to find strength through it. So this is the most important reason is basically you are learning to actually live better, because the more you mature in the spiritual context is better is the more better your karma, and the better your karma means that you are most likely to incarnate in a better heaven. This is the reason why some people actually are born in shacks, some are born in mansions. You'd ask yourself, why are others born in shacks and why are the others born in mansions? And you find out it's just a matter of karma. It's a matter of this person in the mansion probably did more for his spiritual growth than the person in the shack in the last lives. Though in the last incarnation, one was more spiritual and the other was less spiritual. So the less spiritual you are, the poorer you are for it. But the more spiritual you are, the richer you are for it. Meaning, this is a never-ending journey. So you don't want to act like it's ending, and don't want to act like you know all the answers. Oh well, that's the important reason why it's important to focus on your spiritual growth. I love y'all. Peace.